All right, hi everyone. Okay, so we are going to look now at blood flow to and from the lower limbs. Okay, so if we go up here into the abdominal cavity, we're going to have here the descending abdominal aorta, and that's going to be sending blood through these common iliac veins out to the lower limbs. And then blood coming back from the lower limbs will be coming in through these common iliac veins that's going to go into the inferior vena cava. So let's start with blood flow from the foot. Now, these models don't have every vessel that you're going to need for the pathways, so we'll learn those in lecture. Okay, so here we have our venous plantar arch. This venous plantar arch, on this model, you can see the blood flowing here into the great saphenous vein. The great saphenous vein is going to feed into the femoral vein right here. On the other side, here we have this one. This is the fibular vein. We can't see any of this behind the bones, but I'll show you a model where we actually can see the popliteal vein in just a moment. And then here we have the femoral vein, and that femoral vein is going to continue. And once we get up here, we get to external iliac. So we have external iliac veins right here and here. And then you can see down here the two internal iliac veins, and both of those feed into the common iliac veins. And both of those then feed into the inferior vena cava. Now, when blood is going to the lower limbs, it's going to be going from this descending abdominal aorta into your common iliac arteries, and then they're going to branch to the internal iliac vein and the internal iliac artery, and the external iliac artery will follow the external iliac artery until it becomes the femoral artery, and there we have the deep femoral artery, and on the other side you can also see where that deep femoral artery is. That deep femoral artery, we can't see where it's, the femoral artery, we can't see where it's going to become the popliteal, but what we can do right here is see where it becomes the anterior, we have our anterior tibial artery. Now, to follow that flow on this side, here you have your femoral artery. The femoral artery, when it gets back in this section behind the knee, right, that's going to be the popliteal artery, right? We know that's the popliteal region. And then it's going to branch. So first, you're going to see a branch coming here that's going to go and become the anterior tibial artery. And then it keeps on going, and then we get a branch for the fibular artery, and then here would be the posterior tibial artery. We can follow that, and it goes down into the foot. Now, we can't really see all the other stuff that we are going to learn in lecture for pathways, so that's where we're going to stop when it comes to this model. Now, we have a model of the lower limb, right, where we learned muscles. And on here, if we look at the back, we can see where we have our femoral vein and our femoral artery. And then we get down in here and we get to our popliteal vein and popliteal artery. That popliteal artery keeps going, and becomes the posterior tibial artery. And then we branch to the anterior tibial artery. That posterior tibial keeps going, and then it has another branch off to the fibular artery, and it continues down being the posterior tibial. Now, if we look at the front of this model, we can see up here where we have our external iliac artery and vein. Once we get down here, we're at femoral artery and vein. Femoral vein and femoral artery. And it keeps going down, and then it kind of will go back behind the leg, or behind the knee, and then as we come down here, this one on this model is the anterior tibial artery. Okay, and that is it for our limbs.